I'm Scott Himes, and my wife Pam is here alongside of me, and we are glad to be with you this morning and to be able to share what's going on in the Dominican Republic since Rick's last video from last Sunday. And Pam is going to share some of the experiences and the things that are currently going on and the things she does every day as a caregiver as this coronavirus is all around us. And so we're thankful that we can take this time to share these things with you. And let me just start by saying that on behalf of Mission 2535, I want to give you thanks for your contribution that you make on a regular basis that allows Valley View to provide $500 a month to the ministry there, which helps to keep the ministry moving forward. And so we're thankful for that and your partnership with Mission 2535. And so I wanted to kind of bring you up to speed with some of the things that have changed since Rick's last podcast or his second podcast. There's been 2 additional podcasts since then. And things have changed. We have met as a board, and we had to make some adjustments and some difficult decisions with the ministry, with the virus and the impact that it has had in the Dominican Republic. Just like in the United States, people are out of work, there are stay-at-home orders, and that has had a significant impact on what Mission 25 is able to do. And so some of the things that we as a board have done is we've unfortunately not been able to keep the furniture factory up and running in place at this time. That's been temporarily suspended. Vocational school has been temporarily been suspended. The dump ministry, again, has been suspended. And that's really, it's a hard thing to do because there's been so much work that has been done over the last 5 years through God's grace that has enabled us to be able to provide clean water, education, health care, food, and some of the other ministries that take place. And so we are trying to use wisdom and utilize the resources that's been provided. Even in this time, we are still able to do some things. And as Rick shared last week, trying to do provide food to the dump ministry, the children's home, by providing rice and beans, and it's our prayer that we can continue to do that. Even the smallest amount of food has an impact on the DR. Some people can go without food for a day, a couple days, and just the ability to be able to provide a couple pounds of rice and a pound of beans has an impact on what goes on in the DR. And so it is our hope that we'll be able to do that, continue that, and we're hoping that this virus and the impact that it has in the DR will end soon, and so that we can get back to providing the ministries that we are excited about, those things that are near and dear to our heart. Being able to provide clean water, health care, education, food, those things that are just the basic needs that we take for granted here, but those things that aren't readily available in the Dominican Republic. And so we're confident that as this virus is behind us at some point, that we'll be able to pick up where we kind of left off and get these ministries moving forward. And so we need prayer. We could use your prayers, and being able to sustain this ministry, to be able to provide the resources that's needed, and just that this virus would end, and that people would be healed that are sick in the DR. And as a board member, I just ask that you would keep the Romanos in prayer, pray for their health, pray for their family. Their two girls are in the Dominican Republic with them, along with John, and Rebecca is in New York, finishing out school, and so that is a concern for the Romanos, and I just ask that you would pray for her, Rebecca, and just to that she would be safe, and she would have good health, and so pray for the Romanos, and pray for those in the Dominican Republic, as there is a tremendous need, just like here in the United States, for healthcare, medicines, and wisdom as they try and to abide by the stay-at-home order. For those who are watching this, you may have been to the Dominican Republic on a missions trip, and you know how communal they are. They like to be around each other, and it's very hard for them to be apart. And so it's not something they're accustomed to doing. And so pray for wisdom for them, that they would listen to their leadership there in the Dominican Republic to help them stay healthy, and that, again, that they would recover from this coronavirus. So we're trusting the Lord in this, and there's a passage that's near and dear to my heart, Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. And so even in the midst of the coronavirus, we have the confidence that God is with us, and He is always with us. And the Bible is full of passages that has God's promise that He is always with us. And so He'll be with us through this coronavirus, and He'll be with us after this is over. And we're trusting Him in the days ahead. So I want to thank you for your support to Mission 2535. You can stay up to date by going to their website, www.mission2535.org. Or if you are a Facebook user, you can find us on Mission 2535 Friends and Family. And if you're not a friend on that Facebook page, send an invite. We'd be glad to have you on board. There's people from all over the country and outside this country who is on this Facebook page. It's a way that we can stay in touch with all of you and keep you up to date on what's going on in the DR. And it's a way that we can pray for each other. And so I invite you to stay with us and to keep up to date through that opportunity as well. And again, I want to thank you for your support for Mission 2535. Thank you.
When we were in the Dominican for the January board meeting, I really tried to tap into Marari, who is Rick's daughter-in-law, as to the patients that they see in the hospital. And, at that time in January, they were dealing with things that we don't even see hardly in America. They're still dealing with like tuberculosis, syphilis, things that we don't see that much anymore, although they're there. And I can't even imagine how this virus has affected their health system. It just is mind-boggling. And so we're praying that just God gives them the grace to get through this. In the United States, we're feeling the impact, and I'm working in it every day. And I think of them often because, they have no means to fall back. They're not getting a stimulus check, or, a lot of these families have like no income now because of all the jobs lost. So that is just, it breaks my heart. It truly does. So I again, we do thank you for that support in the Dominican. I just want to kind of give you an update on what's kind of going on here as I work in it on a, day-to-day basis. At first, when, we got the information that this was a highly contagious disease, I've done a lot of reading. I've lived through, in my nursing career, HIV when that first started. I was a nursing assistant, and I remember taking care of those patients. And then we lived through like the swine flu and saw a lot of adverse reactions to the vaccine that they received back in the 70s and 80s. And then we lived through the pandemic of the H1N1, where we lost a lot of young people. And I worked in the ICU at that time, and that was really disheartening, and working in that day in and day out. And this has certainly been different. It truly has, in the fact that I want people to understand that it is highly contagious. One infected person can infect 5 people. That's how highly infectious it is. I've had my own experience. My mother lives in Hazleton, and which I call the Little Dominican because that's where a lot of the Dominicans in the United States live. So my mother contracted the coronavirus, and I think it was because she was out shopping, and but thankfully she has come through this. Just amazingly. One day she was fine, and the next day she was sick. So things can turn on a dime with this virus at any given time, truly. I see anywhere from young people coming into the hospital in their 20s to as high as a lady in which I was exposed to last Sunday who was 95, that all she had was a fever. And we had no idea until we tested her that she came back positive. So when they talk about social distancing, it truly is so important to do the social distancing. And as of Monday, this coming Monday, they're asking us to wear masks so that not only we protect ourselves, but other people are protected as well, because we just don't understand enough about this virus. I've seen many people come through the intensive care unit. We unfortunately had one family member that passed away in the hospital system. So we've been very thankful that we have not had a lot of deaths in the hospital. People have come in, they've been tested, but they recover. But let me tell you, during that interim where they are really sick, they cannot breathe. They truly cannot. Again, Governor Wolf has really tried to lay out for the Pennsylvanians to just comply with what they're saying. As far as the treatment goes, we are trying some of the chloroquine. I can't even imagine in the Dominican, I don't even know that this is an old malaria drug, and people with rheumatoid arthritis are usually prescribed this medicine, and we've had some successful trials with this. but not all the patients that we have given this to have been successful. So again, we've probably had about 50 cases. I do worry as people come back after some of the social distancing, as we start to open up, trying to get looking and seeing if we do get a resurgence. So just want to give you people out there some information that the best thing you can do if you have any underlying issues is to wear your mask, good hand hygiene, and stay, remain and do the social distancing. And again, think of the Dominicans, because they have they do not have the healthcare system that we even have. In talking with the Romanos, their health systems are inundated, and again, I just can't even fathom what they're going through.